All right, welcome back. We're going to be taking some questions and comments here at the end of February 2020. Good to see your videos again. Thank you. But they have been here. So what I've noticed last week when I released the group sigil video publicly, because I release most videos first on Patreon and Subscribestar. But when I went to release it on YouTube, I noticed that it didn't show up as being released on that same day that I'm releasing it on YouTube. It put it at 3 weeks prior when I put it on Patreon and Subscribestar. So essentially, YouTube buried the video in your subscription feed. So those who are subscribed to a lot of channels who put out content like every day, and my video shows up with a date of 3 weeks prior, it's going to be buried in your subscriptions. You would have to scroll down a long time to find it. Now, if I'm the only channel you're subscribed to, it would probably show up right at the top. But here's the thing. I don't know how many videos that has happened to, because this week it didn't happen. When I released the Price of Love video on YouTube, it gave it the same date. So it was at the top. I suppose I'm just going to have to keep an eye on it. And if it happens again, I may have to delete the video, which would effectively remove it from Patreon and Subscribestar, but they've had their early access, so that shouldn't be a big deal. It's not going to affect the exclusive Adult Life videos, and then just re-upload it for YouTube. And I hate to do that because that's doubling the work, but YouTube doesn't allow you to upload another copy of the same video. It will detect it as a match and reject it. And I really don't want multiple copies of the same video in my YouTube studio anyway, because it's already a pain to navigate through all of them. Especially now that they've gotten rid of Classic Studio, where I used to be able to get through them quickly. The new updated studio isn't an improvement, and it's costing me more time, actually. But I really wouldn't expect much better from YouTube anyway. So that's what's been going on. I don't know how long it's been going on, and may be the reason why a lot of people weren't having my videos show up in their subscriptions. It could be that they were just buried 3 weeks to a month down in the feed. But I'll keep an eye on it and check the channel regularly. I have it organized so that all the latest uploads are at the top of the page. All right? And I appreciate it. Thank you. Am I okay doing the banishing ritual of the hexagram as a standalone practice? Well, it is a standalone ritual, so you could, but that would be a rather chintz practice. I mean, if you're going to go through the trouble of doing the BRH every day, then you may as well add on the middle pillar and LBRP as well. They don't really take up all that much time. And that's coming from somebody who absolutely abhors wasting time. So if you just take a few extra minutes to throw in the LBRP, the middle pillar, all that's left to add really is a meditation on a point and a meditation on the tarot card of the day, and you're a neophyte. That's pretty much all you're doing in the neophyte grade. And it only takes a few extra minutes. Now, when you're first starting out, it may take a little bit longer because you're inexperienced. But the longer you do it, the less time it will take as you gain the experience. If you want to do the banishing ritual of the hexagram by itself, that's fine. But I would strongly consider adding the other rituals to your practice, sooner rather than later, because adding them in now will actually save you time instead of adding them in later. And there's a reason they have the neophytes practice these rituals. It's because they're the base essentials. Okay, so to answer your question, yes, you can, but I would do more. And thanks for the question. Frater, I live in Egypt, a very religious Muslim country. I'm 22 years old and still live with my family. Here we live with our family until we get married. So I only have one room and can't find any space or tools to start my magical practices or spiritual ones. And my parents are very religious and strict, and if they find out that I'm even learning magic, they will eject me from the house and abandon me. What are my options? Also, you can't get a profitable job without a college degree. I have 1 year left, and then I will graduate from business information systems. My question is, do you have any options or solutions to my problem to be able to practice safely? Wait until you leave. It may be time to get married, my friend. I mean, silence and concealment is the name of the game here. And once you get your own place, you could do whatever you like. You're still young. You have the time. I also understand you're fired up and passionate about wanting to get started. You don't need a room to do that. You can practice magic outside. You can go off alone by yourself outside and practice. If anyone happens to stumble upon you while you're practicing and they ask you about it, just say you're doing performance art. The stakes are higher in Muslim countries that don't have a high tolerance for other religions and spiritual practices. So you want to use your discretion at being discreet. You either seriously hide what you're doing, or you get your own place to do it. And if you sneak off somewhere to do magic outside, I would make that a priority, casting to get your own place. And as I said before, you're still young, you got time. But you don't want to jeopardize having your parents disown you. I'm 49, and my parents still don't know. Right? Some things just aren't worth it. All they know is that I'm on YouTube. That's it. Because I don't give out my channel or tell people what I do. That's part of my silence and concealment. Every single one of my subscribers are people who I've never met in real life. There's no friends, no family. Every one of you I've earned the hard way. And I do appreciate the question. Best of luck to you. I was curious about how does one go about making magic their main focal point in life? Meaning, how do you get to the point where you can start making a living off of it? Well, it's like making a living off of anything else. You first have to be good at it, right? You got to have some skill, and it's got to be a priority. It's got to be something that you enjoy doing, or it should be. Those who don't have a passion for what they're doing either don't make it very far or they don't do very well. For me, personally, it's kind of hard not to make it a priority when magic has completely transformed my life for the better. It got me out of a dark place that I was in when I felt I had no options. So the person that I am now, that I've become, I completely owe to magic. So that's why it's such a high priority for me and such a large part of my life. Before I even made it my business. So I'm going to tell you the same thing about magic that I tell to people who ask about making money on YouTube. Because they have the same answer. And that is, if you're doing it for the purpose of making money, you're doing it for the wrong reason. And probably shouldn't be doing it. And I'll tell you why. It's because you probably won't stick with it long enough to make the money. Look, it took me 10 months just to get my first 100 subscribers. It was a year and a half, almost 2, before I even made my first program. If I had gotten into this to make money, I would have quit long before that. Because it was earning nada for a long time. And if that's your focus is money, and you're not getting any for that long, you're not going to stick with it. The reason people stick with something long enough to eventually make it their business is because it's their passion and their priority. They enjoy it. And because it's their passion, they put everything into it, they get better at it, and they rise to the top. Does that make sense to you? So magic may not be a high priority for everyone. Everyone's priorities are going to be different. So my advice to you would be to take whatever you love doing, whatever you're most passionate about, and see if you can make a service out of it. Is there some way that you could take what you love doing and provide service to others doing it? Because if you're asking how to make magic your focal point and priority, then magic isn't your focal point and priority. So you need to find that thing that gets you up out of bed in the morning that you can't wait to get to and see if you can make that your living. Chris Rock said it best when he said, whatever you're doing, make sure you get paid to do it. That being the case, you want to do your best to make that thing what you enjoy the most. Okay? That's how businesses are started, when they're started for the right reason. I've said it before in previous lessons that the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself, but the love of it, because that'll throw you off your path. It'll make you do things that you probably shouldn't be doing, such as starting a business for something that you don't even really enjoy. And I do appreciate the question. Thank you. And it looks like that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank everyone who wrote in and all of you for listening. Follow me over Twitter at Frater Xavier, or at facebook.com/mindandmagick, or over at Patreon and Subscribestar, links in the description. And we also have a new channel over at BitChute, where I'm currently uploading a lot of the old favorites. BitChute.com/mindandmagick. This is Frater Xavier, and I'll see you next time. Take care.